Hey, Yolanda. Hey, ladies. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Mel. Hey, Stephanie. Jessica. Hey, you guys. Come on in. This should be fun. All right, I saw our guest join. Hey, y'all. Thanks for coming in and helping us have a nice chat today. Hey, Siobhan. There we go. Hey. Oh,
Ooh, I can't hear you.
you know
Hold
what?
on
My
one second.
my audio was off the whole time. That's Is that better?
I can't.
Can you hear me now? Uh-oh. Okay, I'm sure he's gonna come back, y'all. Sorry. Could you guys hear me before? That was so weird. My audio was off, so that might be why. But thank you guys all for joining and tuning in to tonight's live. This is, I think, gonna be the last episode I do for a few weeks. So I appreciate you guys being a part of it today. But yeah, this is gonna be our probably the last episode I do for a couple, maybe 2 months. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to pick back up with Men and Wine, since this has been a really, really, really good series. So if you guys are interested in me continuing to talk to Men and Wine, let me know in the comments. Or if there's another series, you guys know I always do at least a 3-part series. And this one has been a 5-part series. So I've kept it going. There's a guy named Kevins. Do any of you guys follow him? There's a guy named Kevins that I want to bring in and chat with him one day too. But it just needs a little break. So I'm going to refocus my energy and kind of try to reprioritize some things. And then I'm going to come back with my lives in a couple months. But I see Jatan joined us. Okay, thank you. I hear that you guys are loving this series. So that's great. Yolanda, you follow Kevins? Yeah, he and I have been chatting, and we've talked about bringing him in. So that might be my next one for sure. Hey, Jatan,
Hey, how you doing?
what's going on?
Hanging in there. It's been starting to get a little warm in California, so as
Is
you
that
probably know.
where do you live?
I'm in Fremont right now.
Fremont. Okay, so it's like LA area, right?
No, it's literally probably about 40 miles from San Francisco, 30 miles from San Francisco.
Oh, okay. I'm from Sacramento, so I don't even know why I don't know that.
It's like the middleman between San Francisco and San Jose,
Got
basically.
it. Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I'm from Sacramento. I lived in Sacramento until I was 18. Then I moved to San Diego for 10, 11 years. And then we moved to North
Mhm.
Carolina. So that's where we are now. So are you
Oh yeah,
from
North Carolina.
California?
Wow. I am originally, yeah, from Oakland, and then Antioch, which you probably don't know where that is,
Yeah, I
and then
do.
oh,
I
you do?
do.
Okay, yeah, I went to high school in Antioch, and then San Jose, and then now Fremont.
Nice. I love it, love it, love it. So, okay, quick question before we jump in. Is that my network acting funky, or is it yours? Because it's probably mine. Give me 1 second. Let me open
My,
my door because that tends to help.
no problem.
I'm gonna open the door. Okay. Sometimes it helps when I have my door open, oddly enough. Y'all, I say this every single time. I just don't understand how we pay like $70 a month on Wi-Fi on internet and it does not work. So,
Yeah, that's the truth.
hey, Felicia. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I was telling everyone, Jatan, am I saying it right, Jatan?
Jayton, yeah.
Okay. So I was telling everyone that this Men and Wine series was usually my series are 3 parts, but I've kept this going, and this is my fifth one. I'm sorry, and I was telling the group that I'm going to take a little bit of a break, probably a month or two, but I definitely was just trying to figure out, like, should we keep this series going or not? So ultimately, I just appreciate you being here and chatting with us. Let's see. Lifestyles by, oh, Shannon, she says she lived in San Francisco for 11 years. So y'all are familiar with the West Side. Yes, I'm a
Yep.
California girl at heart, you guys, born and raised. So if I act a little crazy, over it.
Nah,
Don't
we
judge me.
understand, sis. We all good with it.
So thank you so much again for joining. I am really excited to have a conversation with you today. It's been really important, and Yolanda just said that this series is important. It's really important to me to highlight some of the men, right, in this space. And of course, we know, and we talk about this all the time, and I don't want to always beat a dead horse with race, but we know that this industry is full of Caucasian men, right? And so to see men of color that are trying to do their thing, and hey, Asia, that are trying to do their thing and, you know, surface this space of wine, I just want to do my part to help highlight and to help share the story. So I am so grateful that you're a part of this. Really quick before we start, y'all, you guys know the drill. Go ahead and tap the paper plane. I'm going to do it too. Tap the paper plane at the bottom right of your phone and just invite a couple people in to join. I usually try to find the people that have a green light, but invite anybody to join. The more people we have, the better the conversation. So I just brought in a couple friends. Okay. All right. So let's get started. So I'm super excited to have you today. I've got my book here that I have dug into a little bit. This
Cool.
is part of one of the reasons why I want to take a break. I shouldn't say a social media break, but I just want to like reprioritize some things right now because I want to spend some time reading this fabulous book. So thank you for sending this to me. I love it.
No problem. Thank you.
I
Thank you
love
for
seeing your
enjoying it
face.
thus far.
Say that again.
I said I love that you're enjoying it thus far, and you're actually going to take some time and really get into it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I love seeing your face all throughout it. I know that there's a couple little areas that I want to highlight today, but I saw your face a couple times in here. And I just love it. It's just important to see these faces. So you guys, he wrote this book, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit. But first, let's get into it. So, tell us about your brand. How did you how did your brand birth? What's the story behind your brand, and what inspired you to create this brand?
Okay. So originally, I'm just a sommelier. Like I work in San Francisco, or worked in San Francisco before our place shut down. And so I just worked there for 8 years, and I've always written. I've been writing not like manuscripts and keeping them to myself since I was like early 20s, like late teens, you know. And
Nice.
so I was always trying to figure out a way to my two passions. I love wine and I love writing, and
Okay,
also I was
wait,
also
one
trying to
second,
figure out.
Jatan.
Yeah,
Jatan,
yeah.
1 second. So I don't know if it's me or you, but the network is funky, y'all. Is it me or is it him? And we might need to just adjust because I cannot hear. I can't make sense of what you're saying. So
Okay.
can somebody in the comments let us know? Is it just what I'm seeing? Is anybody else experiencing the choppiness? And thank you to everybody for joining. Okay. Maybe just start talking again. I think we'll probably get some feedback. It was hard it's just me. Okay. So I can see and hear you both. Okay. All right. It might just be me, and that is unfortunate, but at least everybody else can hear you. So, okay, go ahead.
No problem. So it basically started with me wanting to write a book about wine, and that kind of birthed everything. I originally was just going to write the book and then continue and set up my own publishing company and just continue to write my own stuff and publish it under my publishing company, Grapes and Sand Publishing. But what ended up happening was I started really focusing on the book after I published it, and I wanted to figure out ways of once you get the book, what else you're going to come back for. So I started like, okay, well, clothing. So let me go ahead and find out, like come up with a cool brand, which birthed the Black Wino brand, which is like this. It started with a hat, so the Black Wino hat,
Love
and then
it.
it went to wine, and then it went to wino, and then it went to like my fig, which is the fruit and glass, kind of an acronym for fruit and glass, which is fig. And yeah, that kind of started the whole idea of even having a brand. I didn't expect to have a brand. I'm not a social media guy at all.
Right.
if it wasn't for this book, I probably would have never even been on social media, to be honest with you. But now I enjoy it because now I have connections to people all over the United States. I have that. I mean, I video chat and have calls with people virtually every day, all day. And this
I hate,
now,
I can, okay,
yeah, it
okay,
happens to me too. I
let's,
understand. Like,
okay, are we better? I just tried to get off of my Wi-Fi. Is this better? Okay, I think
yeah,
it's better.
yeah, it sounds good to me. You're fine to me.
Okay, okay. It's choppy for me. I hate it. But okay, so I think I kind of am able to put together what you said. So when did you write the book?
So I wrote the book in 2007. Well, I wrote the book 2016. I published it in 2017.
Okay, okay, good. So it's been out for a little while. So for those of you who are just joining, I've got his lovely book here, Fruit and Glass.
Mhm.
And I read a couple pages of it, but I cannot wait to dig in. I can't wait to get some content with this also so I can post it on my feed. But
Cool.
I'm loving. So tell us about your sommelier journey. Like, what education did you get? Where did you work? Tell us about that experience and has it been worth it for you?
So originally, when I was getting into the whole idea, actually, that was never on the it was never on the table for me to be a som, like
Okay.
ever. I was working a corporate job at AT&T for 8 years, and
Okay.
I was already into wine quite a bit. But I started on the last couple of years of my 8 years stint there. I really started to get into wine, and I used to go to this wine bar in Campbell, California. This young lady owned it, and we got tight because we both like loved wine, and I would give her my feedback, and so she would give me taste, and I'd be like, "This should go on your menu, this shouldn't." So she went to school. There's a place was a place that just closed down, but a place called International Culinary Institute
Uh-huh.
in Campbell, California. And so I talked her into going there and getting her certification if she
Nice.
could. And so I went in there after she got it, and she's like, "You need to get your certification." And I told her straight up, I'm like, "I'm not spending $10,000 to go through this class to go get my certification." And what ended up happening was, at like literally a month after I said that to her, they announced that they were closing down our office. And so I had an option of taking a buyout
Oh,
or going to wherever the new location would be for my office. And I hated my job. I mean, I was getting paid a good amount of money, but I hated it.
yeah.
It was not fulfilling for me at all.
Yeah.
And so I basically just took that money. I took a piece of that money and I paid for the classes. And then I also I passed first and second level certification, so I'm certified som. And prior
Love
to that,
it.
I already had my wine business going. So yeah, everything it kind of came together once I got that, because I kind of already had like a small like private buying wine business going on, and so
Yeah.
that kind of legitimized me. And then yeah, I've been running with it ever since. And
That's so dope. Was it really
yeah,
$10,000?
yeah, at the time back when I was taking it, I passed in 2012, 2011 I passed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you were taking the classes and not just going directly for the certification, it was $10,000 there. Now a lot of people
Sheesh.
came in and tried to without the classes, and yeah, it didn't
Okay.
go so well.
And right now, I mean, everyone is trying to give out scholarships, especially to people of color, which I think is great. So that's
Yeah,
amazing. A lot of people are taking advantage of the scholarships, but that's an investment, right? And
yeah,
and to
yeah.
pay for it out of your own pocket shows how serious you are in this investment.
Yeah, I don't
Absolutely.
do things halfway. Like if I say I'm gonna do it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. I love
And if a
it. I
roadblock's in
love
front of me, it's
it.
like whatever. So
So,
yeah.
okay, tell us then about the wine business because I didn't know anything about that.
So it's okay. I truly love wine people, like the real like hands in the soil or wine lovers that just really love it, not pretentious, just love wine because they tend to be very open, willing to share wine and knowledge with you if they are truly wine people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of course in any kind of group of people there's a lot of outside noise. There's also a lot of people that don't really truly love it, like they just kind of they're here for like maybe marketing. It's not here. They're not here for the true love of wine.
Sure.
And there's a place for them too. But
Yeah.
for me, I'm kind of a purist. I want to be around people that really love the stuff. And so with that being said, um, I do see that there's a shift right now going in the culture of wine from what it was originally. Originally, I'd go into these tasting rooms, and I wouldn't see anybody that looked like me.
Right.
I wouldn't even see really that many minorities, to be honest with you.
Right.
But no one really looked like me, and I'd be in these rooms, and they would. Some people were really cool and they like were welcoming, but there's other people who were just like, "Who's this brother in here?" And then I started
Yeah.
talking about
What
wine,
does
and then
he
they had the
want?
aha moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's changed a lot though. The pendulum has shifted. I'm everywhere I go now. Well, before COVID, I was seeing a lot of more like minorities in there, and they knew their stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, this is what I'm talking." I could get the little
Yes.
head nod from across the room at people and stuff. It was good, man.
Absolutely. I
Like
love
for
it.
example,
And there are many of us, I
yeah,
think in this time right now, like since COVID, I think a lot of folks have taken what has been just a hobby or a passion and tried to
yeah,
like evolve something out
yeah,
of that. And I think that that's amazing, because sometimes all you need is a push. All you need is the one person who looks like you to say,
yeah,
oh, like I could do that. Like I really love X, Y, and Z. I can do that. And I think that that's
yeah.
a lot of the reason why you don't see a lot of people of color in the wine business now is because there's not people that look like them. So
That's true.
something that feels so far away, so detached. And so
It's so
now that we're
funny.
starting, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I was piggybacking on what you were saying. It's so funny that when I first started working at the job in San Francisco, I was working at this place called Eno, which is a
Uh-huh.
wine bar restaurant, and I helped them open the place up, and I was there until they closed last year because of COVID. They were open for 8 years, and I remember there was really not a lot of us coming in at all.
Yeah.
But in the last 4 years, like it was like a normal spot, regular spot for a lot of people, like Black people, a lot of Latin people.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see the change of people not just staying in their box and kind of like, yeah, I want to try it, I want to
Absolutely.
experience this.
Absolutely. And you're right. Like there's so much more to just tasting wine. There's so much
Yeah.
education. I mean, just even for me and I took WSET 2, and then
So
now I'm studying the American Wine Expert program with the Napa Valley Wine Academy. And I am just blown away. There's a couple folks on here that are a part of my shout out to Mel and to Shannon, who we're in the same study group. But I mean, it's crazy the level of education. And it's so crazy when, something that was once a hobby for me, now it's like a true business and something that I really deeply love. And I feel really, really charged by it because it's like I'm not I'm not going to plateau in this, right? Like there's just
yeah.
so much to learn with all of the regions and all of the climates.
Mhm.
And we talked about this last week, the mountains and the valleys and like the light and the slopes and all of
Yeah.
it plays a big part. And so, and then of course, like the winemaker's individual interest, right? Like it's their interest that makes this wine the way it is. And so it's
Yeah.
just so many different factors. And it's just really incredible, I think, to just see all the roles of the people and the roles that they're playing in the wine business right now. But it's
So true.
most important to me to continue to see people like you rise and people like you
Thank
be
you.
highlighted and people like you that we support you. And so that's like one of my questions. And I have this on here. I just want to jump into it though. I have our session, by the way, you guys know how I do this. I break it down. We get to know the guest, and then we talk about whatever it is that they do. So in your case, it's your book. And then we're going to
Mhm.
talk about wine. And then I'm going to wrap it up with hip hop and wine, because
All good.
I always
All
like
good.
to end it with that kind of vibe. But oh God, it slipped my mind what I was saying. Ultimately, though, I just think it's really important. Oh, the book. How can we support you, right? Like, what do you need from the community to support you? I mean, obviously to purchase your book, right? I'm assuming
Yeah, of course.
where can we buy the book?
So if you go to the link in my bio, and like we're on Instagram right now, so go to Instagram link in my bio. There is you can actually, it's a link tree, and you have all the things that I'm pushing right now. There's the tangible hard soft cover copy of my book. You just click on there, it'll get you right to the book, along with all the rest of my stuff that's on my Etsy. You can check out too. So
Dope.
everything's in the link in my
What
bio.
else is on your Etsy?
So I have artwork. I
Love it.
have shirts, hats, aprons,
Love
and
it.
and all my books, like I have this of course, but then I also have a book called Wine's Cliff Notes. It's totally digital, and the cool thing about this one is it's a shorter version of this. So if you don't want to read all this stuff and you just want to have something digitally that you can go check out, you can go to my Etsy and check that out. And then also I'm a writer, so like I have poetry there too. I have a poetry book that I
Love
have
it.
published called Voice of Truth. That's there digitally, and then you go to Amazon for the physical copy of that.
Perfect. And by the way, this is not a hard read at all. And there's some
That's how to make
incredible
it really
pictures
easy.
inside of it, but it's not a hard read. It's very engaging. A lot of content in terms of material, in terms of education, but it's not a hard read. So how much is the book on Amazon?
Well, this is on my Etsy.
This is on
And
Etsy.
and that is only $15.
$15. I need
Yeah.
like 5 people right now. Go to his link and buy a copy of this. But I'm going to buy a copy when I jump off of this. I know you sent this to me, but I'm going to buy a copy just to support you, because we have to support each other. If we're not supporting each other, who will, right? And what's $15? We spend that on lunch, you know?
That's true.
We
My
spend
thing with the book too was like I wanted to make it more approachable. Again, I didn't see a lot of us in there, so I wanted to make a book that you could understand it. It's not in this, like, if you read some of these wine books, you're sitting there like, what did this guy just say? Because it's so overly wordy and it doesn't really connect.
Yes, I
and
agree.
because I'm a writer by trade, that's what I really do. Like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write it in layman. I'm gonna write it the way I understand it, and I hope that everybody else that is trying to figure out more about wine as an entry level, this is a perfect book for you. Or if you're in the wine industry and you want to kind of sharpen up your toolkit, this is a good book to have behind you too. So yeah.
I agree. I completely. Yolanda said she didn't know anything about your poetry. So she says she wants to know more about that and how can she get her hands on, she wants to support you.
So that's also on my Etsy. It's called Voice of Truth. I actually wrote it probably about 10, 12 years ago. And then I said, I wrote it and it was totally digital. And I said, I actually want to rewrite. I want to tighten it up, and I'm gonna publish it under my publishing company. And so that's what I did. I took the book, tightened it up, got it way more cleaner. And I think it's also the reason I wrote it the reason I redid it is because it was perfect for what was going on right now.
Yeah.
With race and all the stuff that's going on, the bigger picture, all that.
Yeah.
I felt like some of those poems were hitting perfectly for the time that we're in. So that's another reason why I re-released it and published it under my publishing company. It's a digital book. I believe on my website it is on Etsy it is $8, and I believe if you want a physical copy, that one's on Amazon, and that's
okay.
That's going to run you at 10, I believe.
See, I love it. You're a serial entrepreneur. I love it. But it's okay. Okay, so we talked about you used to work at AT&T. What do you do now? What's your 9 to 5 now?
I don't have one. I'm fully on my business now.
Yes.
Not to say that I'm not going to go back and get a 9 to 5, right now,
I hear you.
right now, I'm just building. I'm really just trying to build. I have my publishing company. I have a project coming soon with my homeboy Armando. He is a chef, and we're going to be I'm publishing his cookbook along with my wine pairings under my publishing company coming soon. Hopefully by the end of this year.
I love it. And so Janita says, my publishing company, yes. You're saying my publishing company, she says, yes, we need our own. So that's need to own our own. That is amazing, 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 amazing. So if any of you have some wine content, you go ahead and hit your boy up.
Yeah, for sure. Hit me up. We'll talk. Like this is gonna be the first thing I've ever published that's not mine 100%. Okay. And so it's interesting. It's a lot of fun bouncing ideas and figuring out something. But at first when we were talking about it, I remember telling him, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to be publishing anybody else's stuff, but I've known him for so long, and he's such a well-respected chef, and he's dope. I've had his food. His food is amazing. He's one of the few people that I would just totally collaborate with, just like that. And
I love it.
Yeah, that I hope to publish a couple of my novels. I have one that's going to be coming at the end of the year that I'm going to be publishing. So yeah, I'm juggling. I'm trying to figure out everything.
So here's one of the pages that I love, page 15. Wine has a way of being more seductive and sultry compared to any other beverage. with a single swirl of glass, the slow sip and how it plays on the palate, one is transported. And just as romance will have its ebbs and flows, so does wine. I love that sentence. As time goes on, what develops in the bottle is a nuanced, subtle beverage that can make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It is the greatest love affair. I love that. So this was written by Megan Henderson, wine director, San Francisco, California, owner of Everyday Sommelier. I mean, it's just little things like that, and that's totally poetry. I love it.
She's one of my favorite people too in the business. Like that, she's like a sister to me. I've known her for a long time. She's awesome.
That's so dope. I mean, this is, I think I got to that page and that's where I stopped. So I can't wait to keep it going. So, okay. So, overall though, are you getting good feedback on the book?
Yeah. I mean, see, I didn't really start going hard on the book. I published it and I was like, I'm just going to pass it out, like, sell it lightweight under the table. And I still have I was working at I was working at Eno full time. So it was hard to like really, go out there and push my book. But in the last year and a half, I've been trying to go a little harder with the book, and I'm really going hard on it now because, I mean, I have all this time, and I can break it down in my days. So I
love it. Okay, so what are you drinking on right now?
I have one of my favorite vineyards is out of Gilroy, California.
Yeah.
And my homeboy and his wife. Two of my favorite people in the industry. They have a label called Sarah's Vineyard.
Okay.
Give them a little love.
Love it.
2017 Syrah, and I have collaborated with them on a number of virtual stuff, and I just go out there and hang out with them all the time. I love those people. That's a beautiful couple. They just had a daughter. I love them. They're good people.
I love it. That's good. I mean, listen, it's all about plugging the people that we love and support, right? Because they'll do it for us. By the way, Taja says she needs to post about your book. She just bought it last week. So that's fantastic. That's Wine with Taja. Good night. So I'm drinking a Chenin Blanc from Vouvray.
Oh my God. I love Chenin Blanc.
Me too. And I actually, this is my first time having one from Vouvray. The Chenin Blancs that I've had have been from South Africa. So this is delicious. It's semi-sweet, which is a little bit more sweet than I generally like, but I really enjoy it. I mean, it's really, really good. I did a wine tasting this weekend. I did 2 wine tastings this weekend, and this was one of the wines that I featured. So if anyone's interested in a good Chenin Blanc, oh my goodness, it's so
I've had it before. That one is delicious. I've had it before. I don't have a sweet tooth, but I've had that one before, and I love it. That has a lot of acid. I mean, you don't know it has so much acid until you like really let the air in.
Yes.
It starts to come down. It makes your mouth water.
And it's delicious with like notes of honey and apricot, and it's just so good. So
great wine.
You guys got 2 new wine options, or for those of you who have had it, I have that one and the reserve. Okay. Love it. So these folks are very familiar, but yes, definitely a good bottle. Chenin Blanc is a great variety that I think it's very popular, obviously, like in South Africa, but I think sometimes in the United States, it doesn't get enough love. So, so I wanted to shout that out. So, okay, so let's talk about wine a little bit, and then we're going to get into our wine and music. Let's talk about your experience with wine. So what was your most memorable experience with wine? Like when you first realized you had a love and passion for wine, what is that story?
Good question. I've had a lot of experiences with wine.
Tell us about the first one. Those days when you were in college and you didn't know what you were doing and you were just drinking whatever.
Okay, so this is going to be like a quick 2-parter though. I have a friend named Nick. Nick, out of all the crew in college, was the one. He didn't go to my college. He went to Santa Clara, but we were tight. Like we knew the same people. We just hung out, a group of us every week. And he, out of all of us, had his own business. He was publishing books himself. He's a writer, and he was making good amount of money. All of us were trying to barely making it, college kids, and he was making a lot of money. So what he did was he would take us out 2-3 times a week to like a nice dinner, all of us, like 10 of us. and take us to like places that we would probably never see.
Right.
And and you would always like pay for, like, we'd all be trying to pay because, you know, none of us like we're all guys. We don't want
Right.
him paying for stuff. But he'd always pay behind our back. He'd always make sure he paid. And every time we go, he would say, Jay, pick the wine because I know you're the wine person. And he loved wine just as much as I do, but he was kind of like, yo, handle it. I don't want to deal with it. I'm like, all right, cool. And so we had this, we were at this Italian place in downtown San Jose. And I was looking through the list and I saw Edna Valley Pinot Noir. And this is before Edna Valley was huge and, like, you know, everybody there at every grocery store. This is when they were kind of niche. And I tasted it. And then I let some air in. I said, why did this just change so much with me just letting some air in it? And that's when I was like, I love this wine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if all wines do this, right? So then I started like doing that more often, and that became like that was one of the moments I remember where I really got into wine. Another one is the same guy, Nick. he was supposed to take this girl he was dating to a wine festival in San Francisco, and at the last minute she canceled, and we were all partying at his house, and he said, hey, you want to come with me tomorrow? Just me and you. We're going to go, you know, wine tasting. I was like, yeah, why not? It's like early in the morning. So we drive up there, and I had some of the best wines I've ever had, and I had some of the best experiences I ever had just talking to people about wine, and everybody was so like cool and warm and just like, try this wine, try this wine. We walked out of there with like free bottles of wine. It was amazing. And so that was another time that I was just like, okay, those are the beginning of what made me fall in love with wine. A lot of the stuff.
I love it. What a great story. I think, you know, wine festivals are perfect for people who are trying to decide if they like wine or what wines they like, right? And just to explore. And I could only imagine a wine festival in San Francisco. Oh my goodness. With all of those different wine
vendors and stuff. Yeah,
everywhere,
it was
right?
crazy.
Like all around San
everywhere.
Francisco, you can get some incredible wine all up and down California. So
Yeah.
so
A lot of
fun.
beautiful people there. It was fun.
I love it. So, okay, someone said, hey Nita, hey girl, hey. Someone had made a comment. Oh, there was a question, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay, and it's not there anymore. Okay, no problem. I think someone accidentally requested to join. I think that's what ended up happening, and it threw me off. Okay, hey Cassandra. So okay, one of my moments in wine, I think I told the group last week, but I used to drink Carlo Rossi, the big
of
jug.
Course. Top of the line wine, Carlos Rossi. Yeah, I know all about Carlos Rossi.
The sangria.
E40, yeah.
It was like $11 and you got hella wine for like a whole week.
I did it too. So, yeah.
And then I had to definitely upgrade from my wine experiences. But living of course, in Sacramento and being so close to like Napa and Sonoma. But when I moved to San Diego, I was really close to Temecula. Yeah, so Temecula was 30 minutes away, and we used to go to Temecula just on the weekend for no reason. And that's when I really, really, really started getting into wine. I told a lot of people last week that my sisters on here, we're actually not real sisters, but we kind of grew up like sisters. So anyway, she knows those days. But yeah, it would be no big deal for us to just drive up to Temecula and be there all day. Oh, and I was telling everyone last week that I went to an international college. So a lot of my friends were not American. They were from Finland, Sweden, Russia, you know, Africa, all over Africa. And so hanging out with them, I thought I was cultured. They was culturing me. So they used to take me to these wineries, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And that's when I really figured out that I really loved wine, and I wanted to start exploring it more, you know? So
was there a wine that did it for you? Was there like one wine that you can remember that was like, this was the one? This guy.
Yeah. So Malbec was my like favorite it was my first red that I fell in love with. And it was Malbec everything, right? And then I would go to Trader Joe's and I would get Malbec from Argentina, and like it was inexpensive at Trader Joe's, so we used to rack it up. But I would say that was I really never really got into whites probably until the last couple years, unless they were sweet at the time. But it was like I went straight from sweet wine to red, straight from sweet to red. I didn't do anything in the middle. And so when I'm talking about bold, like cabs, Shiraz, like drinking those, like, you know, more full-bodied wines, it was a nice jump for me. But Malbec was my go-to for a long time. We've got some Malbec lovers in here.
Oh yeah. It's
Mel said
funny how
Malbec was my, huh?
it's funny how Trader Joe's is kind of the beginning for a lot of our wine careers, because I remember telling, like, I think I even say it in the book that Trader Joe's was, I was a struggling college kid working full time and trying to go to school full time, and I'm sitting there trying to understand about wine, but I didn't have any money, so Trader Joe's was the international section in Trader Joe's, not even the California, because I couldn't afford all those. The international section, I learned about Alianico there. I learned about Diavola there. I learned about like
Yes.
the Rhone, Loire, all that from Trader Joe's and
Yes,
doing my own research.
same.
Yeah, yeah. I did
Rhone
the same
Loire
thing.
Valley, and also like my first Gewürztraminer was from
Yeah,
Trader Joe's. I couldn't even
yeah.
pronounce it for forever. But by the way, the Gewürztraminer that I usually drink, and I don't drink it often, but when I do, it really reminds me of the Chenin Blanc that I'm tasting right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. By the way, I'm not gonna front, but I still will turn up on some Trader Joe's wines.
Me
Like
too. Me too.
we go to Trader Joe's, and everybody knows this about me already, but one of my favorite sparkling wines is a sect.
Yeah, no, the
It's
white label.
yeah, Schloss Beer Rich or
I
whatever.
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yes,
I used to pop those with my homeboys back in the day. Like, we all party,
yes,
and I'm like, I want a cheap like sparkling wine. I buy like a bunch of them, just like, yeah,
totally.
let's have fun.
I buy them all the time. Like still, like I every like week or two, we go and buy like 8 bottles until they're
Yeah,
gone, and then we go get more. Like that's my Saturday morning, Sunday morning drink. Like I turn
yeah.
on church and I've got a glass of sect.
I get it. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. That's balanced life right there, in my opinion.
Totally. So let me tell you something that I just learned this week. I just learned that sect is Riesling.
Yeah. Well, SEKT, yes.
Yeah. Yes. I
It's
never
Riesling.
knew that.
Yeah. And I
Um,
love Riesling. I love sparkling Riesling too.
Me too. Yes, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that sect was Riesling. So all this time that I've been drinking sect, and by the way, the sect that I have been drinking, the one from Trader Joe's, the Schloss Beer
Mm,
Rich or whatever it's
mm.
called, it's a rosé. So I'm like, where is the color coming from? So it must be blended with something else that they're just not
Well, it
saying.
could, if it's so that one, I believe, if it's the rosé one, because I was thinking about the white one. There's a white one that we have out here. Um, if it's the rosé one, they're using Pinot Noir. It's not. They're not doing Riesling on that one. That one's Pinot Noir.
Okay, is sect Riesling? Is sect always Riesling?
No, it depends. So if you're talking about white wine and it's coming from Germany, a lot of times if it says sect on it, it's Riesling.
Okay.
But if it's rosé, a lot of times it's Pinot Noir, and they're blue, and of course they're pressing it with the skins on, giving it
Yep,
a little.
yep, yep. Okay, got it. Because I was like, I was sitting in on so Jermaine, he does his hip hop podcast, and he was
Yeah.
interviewing what's her name from Love and Hip Hop this weekend, Lord. Yandy Smith. And so
Oh yeah, I saw, yeah.
he did a wine tasting with her, and I sat in on it. It was really, really good. And he was like, I'm drinking a sect. And I was like, I love sect, but sect is definitely not, it's not a black grape variety. I know that
No.
much. It's
Yeah.
not Riesling. So anyway, so thanks for clarifying that. That is something that I definitely want to take and research a little bit more, because I
Yeah.
had no idea. So
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because wine is ever evolving, and there are some, but there's not a lot of cool, hard rules in
yeah,
wine because it's always changing.
yeah,
And also laws are changing about what you can put on the label and what you can't put on the label.
right.
So like maybe years ago you probably couldn't put sect on the label, and maybe it's changed. I don't know because I have to look at that again. It's been a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I was going to school, it was just like, yeah, Riesling was sect. If it was white, if it was a white wine, white sparkling wine, and it said sect on it, it was Riesling. And if it was rosé, sparkling, then it was Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would make much more sense.
Mhm.
Because I was telling my husband, I was like, did you hear this? How is that even? So I'm like, I need to research that a little bit more. But yes, Mel on here from Germany, a yum. Yes, girl. Yes, yes, yes. I just love my girls in here. I love my girls. All right. So, okay, we talked about the book. We talked about your inspiration around the book. Let's talk about, so you told us a little bit about one of your favorite wine regions. Can you elaborate a little bit more? Tell us about the area, what you love most.
Yeah.
What is your favorite varietal?
So one of my favorite regions, I have a lot of places. I drink a lot of wine, so it's like I'm all over the place. I love Rome's, but I think if I'm going to say one of my favorite regions at the moment, I probably got to go with Spain, and I got to go with Priorat specifically in Spain. Would probably be the place that I really look to for value and like complexity.
Nice.
A lot of the wines that I like, especially when it was cold, just like a couple months ago, I like full body wines during that time. And sometimes I don't want to pay full body wine prices,
Right.
like Napa prices. And so I was always trying to figure out a way around that. And one of the ways I got around that, and I'm still in love with that region, is Priorat. Priorat does a lot of different types of varietals. And they're mostly so they deal with Carignan. They do blends. They do Garnacha. I like Garnachas from there quite a bit. They tend to be rustic, big, bold
Nice.
wines. Yeah, that's kind of the place I'm looking at more than anything right now. Also, Sicily is hot.
Ooh.
If you're into okay, so here's a perfect example. If you're into Nebbiolo,
Yep.
you love Nebbiolo a lot, but you can't afford Nebbiolo because it's expensive and sometimes they're unapproachable when they're young. Look at Nerello Mascalese from Sicily, because Nerello Mascalese, you're going to get some of the same mouthfeel, you're going to get some of the same texture, some of the same flavor profile, but they're way more approachable when they're young, and
nice.
They also are delicious. Like they're delicious. So
nice.
Like that's what I love about Sicily. Frappato is another place or another type of grape that I like from Sicily. There's a lot of them in Sicily you can mess with right now.
So. Nice. I am going to have to check that out. I don't know that I've ever paid attention to if I've had a wine from Sicily or not. So thank you for that plug. We're gonna have to all check that out. Yes. So hey man. So we got Iman in here. We got Nita. Happy hour champ. Hey friends. All right. So we are going to transition to our wine and hip hop version of my sip and chats. And for those of you who know, I usually do these. I play music and then we usually would say what wine goes with the song, or we would need to listen to the lyrics to hear what the song is, because the songs have any kind of reference to wine in it. But y'all, Instagram is shady, and my last live that I did last week or whatever, 2 weeks ago, which was so good, by the way, Instagram blocked it. So I'm not going to do any audio today because this content is so important. And I want to make sure that we are highlighting Jatan. So remember, y'all, his book, Fruit and Glass, is available on his Etsy. He's got a full shop that you can click the link in his bio. That'll take you to his Etsy. And then he's also got a poetry book that he's also selling on Amazon as well. So make sure to go check him out and support him. $15 for this book. And it's so good, you guys. It's very thoughtful, well-written, great photos. It's just a really nicely written, thoughtful book. So please go and support him. Okay. So I had to come up with something different. So we're going to play this or that today. We're not going to do any, hey, Ria, we're not going to do any music today because we're not trying to get blocked. Okay. So I'm going to say two things and we're going to let the audience chime in. And Jatan, before you respond, let's let them all have a moment to weigh in, and then you can give your answer at the end, okay? So, and you guys, let's do this. Let's make it more fun and say, you guys pick what you think Jatan's favorite would be, okay? So I'm going to give you two options. It's called this or that. I'm going to give you two options. Y'all say what you think Jatan's favorite would be, and then he's going to tell us what his favorite is of these options, okay? So this is between hip hop and wine. So I'm going to rotate between the two. All right. The first one, sparkling wine or still wine? All right. So you guys put in the comments, do you think Jatan prefers sparkling wine or still wine? And he told us that, I think from this chat, he likes both. So I'm curious to see his selection or his choice. But you guys let us know. Does Jatan like sparkling wine, or does he prefer sparkling wine or still wine? So Yolanda says still. Eman says still. Happy Hour Champ still. All right. Cherie says still. All right, cool. So we got a couple responses. Nita says sparkling. All right. What is your favorite, still or sparkling, Jatan?
This is a hard question. they're like neck to neck with me. I think I would have to go with still because it only edges it out by like a head.
Okay.
Because I drink a lot of sparkling wine and I love sparkling wine, but I would say still just because it's a little bit more options that I can wrap my head around with that. So yeah, still.
Yeah, totally. Okay, good. Perfect. And so did you tell us your favorite wine? What is your favorite wine? What's your favorite still wine? And what's your favorite sparkling wine?
So let me see here. Favorite still wine. One of my favorites, there's so many, but one that's coming to my mind right now is this it's actually a Bordeaux blend out of Napa called Arietta.
Uh-huh.
It's that one is probably my favorite right now. That has like 4 different varietals. It's Cab heavy, but Cab Sauv, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and I believe Malbec's in that one.
Uh-huh.
And they call it the Quartet. So that's probably my favorite still
amazing.
Wine. It's really good. And then sparkling. Right now, there's this, and why is this skipping? Why is it not in my head right now? There's a place in Campbell, in Carmel.
Okay.
Carmel by the Sea. They have all these tasting rooms, and there's a specific wine. It's the only sparkling house there. It's a wine room. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to send you guys the information.
Sounds
later,
good. Post it in your stories afterwards, so everybody will go to your stories.
It's awesome. For California sparkling, it kills. So
I love it.
Bodkin too. I forgot Bodkin. Bodkin is amazing.
Bodkin, nice.
That's like my new favorite right now. Sparkling Sauvignon Blanc.
Iman says that sounds like a put your red lipstick on kind of wine. Yes, I love it. Okay. All right, cool. So our next one is Biggie or Tupac? Biggie or Tupac? All right. So we know where he's from. So duh. But what do y'all think? Biggie or Tupac? So y'all put it in the comments and let us know. Is Jatan's favorite, and by the way, we all know that they are goats, right? They are goats. They are the goats. But do you think his preference is Biggie or Tupac? And don't forget, he told you where he's from. Although, I'm not sure. But I'm assuming. All right, so we got Biggie, Tupac, Biggie, B.I.G., Biggie. All right, who is your favorite?
Another hard one, thanks. So growing up, of course, it's all day Pac. That's how I grew up. That's what it is. But if I was to, it depends on what I'm looking for. If I want to really, really connect to the music, it is Pac. If it's like somebody that's more has more lyrical content, then I'm on Biggie's side, because Biggie lyrically and the way what he does with what he does with the mic is different than anybody else. So
truly, I agree.
I love Biggie for that. But because of where I'm from and what I grew up on, it's a little bit more Pac. It's because he's a revolutionary and I identify with that.
What do we
It's hard though, man. I love Biggie. I probably listen to Biggie more than I listen to anybody now. So I don't know. It's hard.
I know that is hard. Did you see the show that was just recently published? I forget which network, but my husband and I watched it on Sunday. It was really good.
The documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
really good.
It's really good. And what I liked the most about it was that they had so much of his voice, right? Like almost half of the show was him talking, like content from him. So I really liked that because it felt more real versus everybody else's stories about him. It was really good. Yeah, I got a story to tell. He didn't focus on the
Pac side too much. Yeah, he didn't like, it wasn't totally focused on him and Pac's relationship. It was about him and how he grew up, and I wanted that because we don't get a lot of that in these other docs that have been done on him. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they certainly didn't make the focus be a West Coast versus East Coast thing, you know?
which is
Yeah.
dope.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's our next wine. Pinot Noir or Pinot Grigio?
Okay.
Pinot
That's
Noir
easy.
or Pinot Grigio? What would you guys say is Jaton's favorite? Pinot Noir, Pinot Grigio. Hey, Chanel.
All my people in the room too. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you guys and your support.
Yeah, you got some love. And make sure while you guys start answering, make sure you guys are following Jaton. You can click on the drop down arrow next to the live button at the top, and you can easily follow him. And if you're not following me, please do the same.
Yes.
Shameless plug. All right, so we've got Pinot Noir. We got a couple Pinot Noirs, and then Rio says Pinot Grigio. Taja says Noir. Okay, tell us. Okay, Chanel says Grigio. What
It's
is
easy
your
for me.
favorite?
It's easy. It's Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
Yeah, Pinot Grigio. I can deal like you have to be exceptional for me to really like you as a Pinot Grigio, and I do like some Pinot Grigios. I have nothing against them. It's just it's so far few in between that I like that. There's a lot of Pinot Noir I like, so
Right.
I would have to say Pinot Noir.
Right,
Over Grigio.
especially in California too.
Yeah, I like skin contact when they do like a little bit of skin contact with some of those Grigios where you got to get like that
Yes.
orange kind of golden tint.
Yes.
That adds to the complexity, and that's when I start to like, okay, I'll try this one. And then sometimes I get like, oh, this is amazing, and sometimes I'm like, this is horrible. But it is what it is.
I agree. So you know, Mary J. Blige, her wine.
Yeah, I just did a review on her wine. Yeah.
And to me, a lot of people love it, and to me, I just think it's okay. But yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it.
I did a review on that wine probably about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I have a couple shows that I do. I have like, well, I do one where it's called Wine Tasting with Giants, where I interview somebody I think is really dope, and those come out more sporadically. But my weekly shows are my Wine Wednesday, which can be any varietal, any kind of wine.
Yeah.
I'll showcase on Wednesday, and then I also have Wine Still of the Week, which is every Friday, where I'm trying to find wines that are under $20 that are punching above its weight class.
Nice.
And so I did hers on a Wine Wednesday, I think, and it was. Actually, I like the wine because there's some complexity there. For a Pinot Grigio, it's actually one of the better Pinot Grigios I've had.
Yeah.
But that's if you are a Pinot Grigio lover, you'll really like that one. Yeah.
For sure. Completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Okay, so I'm gonna take it back.
Okay.
Okay. Jodeci or H-Town? Come and talk to me. Wait, is Instagram gonna cut me off if I sing the song? Shoot.
Let's hope not.
I can't win.
I used to have those mixes when I was in college. I definitely had like, you have the mixes for when you bring like somebody over, and definitely Jodeci and H-Town were part of those days.
Yes. Come on. We all know how good it was. It was so good back in the day. Yeah. All right, we got Jodeci's winning. We got one that says H-Town.
Oh, I'm Jodeci all day.
Jodeci all day. Come talk to me.
I love H-Town, but I'm Jodeci all day. That music got me in so much trouble back in the day.
Yeah.
But I don't remember those times anymore. That's a long time ago. I don't live in the past. I live in the present.
You were still trying to find yourself.
Yes, exactly.
All right. The next hip hop one. Lil Kim or Faith? Soon as I get home. Y'all, I can't sing, but I love me some music. All right, Lil Kim or Faith. So you know they're very different, but they're part of the same genre. They're from the same camp. They mess with the same man. No, I'm just saying.
We're supposed to talk about that.
Sorry. All right, so we got someone said, ooh, that's a good one. So we've got Faith, Kim all day. Kim, E-Man says that's hard. You want to rumble with the B, huh?
Yeah, huh?
Throw a hex on the whole family.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
man.
What's your favorite?
Okay, so this is depending on my mood, to be honest with you. It's hard to pick one.
Yes, it is.
Because Faith, if I'm like in one of those moods where I'm trying to, like, it's me and my lady and we're trying to have a vibe, then it's definitely Faith.
Definitely.
But if I'm just like I'm on my hip hop thing and I want to feel like I'm in the car and I'm knocking,
Yes.
it's Lil Kim. So it just depends on where I'm at.
I feel you.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I feel you. So to your point, because I made that kind of hard, right? Like they're the same camp, but they're very different, right? So let's do
Yeah.
Cardi B or Meg the Stallion. Okay, what y'all think? Who is his favorite, Cardi or Meg? So they're kind of the same, right? Like
Yeah,
they're
they think
they're
genre.
they're the same.
Yeah.
They're different, but they're the same. All right,
Yeah.
we've got Meg. We got Meg. Yolanda says she don't know. We
I
got
love
Meg,
her.
Meg. Okay, so the consensus is Meg so far. So who do you prefer, Meg or Cardi?
So if it's damn, this is hard too because I'm a purist when it comes to hip hop. So I'm about you're writing your own stuff. So
Sure.
it's Meg. It's Meg because I know she like I've seen her in ciphers like she can actually really spit. But Cardi makes better music in my opinion. So I don't know. I would say probably Meg just because I like her. She's a lyricist. She even though it's some wild stuff she be talking about,
Yeah.
she's a lyricist. So I respect that, and that's probably where I lean more. But I
Yeah.
love Cardi. I have no problem with Cardi. Cardi, she gets it cracking. So
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. But let me just say this really quick. Jodeci and H-Town were talking about a lot of inappropriate things that we should have not been listening to when we were in middle school and high school. Sir. So
yo, keep it at 100.
this
My
WAP,
mom found that. My
huh?
mom found that Jodeci tape one time. I got in so much trouble. She's like, "What are you listening?" I got be. And my father's a preacher, so yeah, it was.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of
So
those
we
moments.
know all about that. And my mom, she thought she was a preacher. So, ooh, mom, are you on here? Sorry, mom. She she found my Jodeci tape too. But listen, WAP and Jodeci and like WAP and Cardi and Meg, they're just different times, but
I
it's
agree.
all inappropriate.
It's the same. It's the same to me, but
It is. It is. Okay,
it's not
here's our
wasn't that
next
long
one.
ago.
Chardonnay. Do you prefer
Mm.
your Chardonnay oaked or unoaked? What do y'all think? Oaked or unoaked for his Chardonnay? The chat was going lit for a minute.
Everybody was in that.
Eman says she loves her wildness. I love it. All right, we've got oaked, oaked, unoaked, unoaked, oaked. I think it's half and half. Unoaked. Okay, we're getting half and half here. Oaked and oaked. All right, so what do you prefer, oaked or unoaked Chardonnay?
Oak if they do it right. It
Yes.
depends if they do it
Right.
right. I'm cool with oak if it doesn't overpower the purity of the fruit because
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about the purity of the wine. If it starts talking a little louder than the fruit, I don't want it.
Yep.
So it's oak, but it has to be done the right way.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I completely agree. When it's too much oakiness and too much butter, I'm like,
Mm.
ooh, I feel like I'm eating like a jelly bean, a popcorn jelly bean.
And being honest with you, like I'd rather have an unoaked wine than a horribly oaked wine. So because I
Totally.
like unoaked Chardonnays too, so I'd lean more towards there if the oak is horrible.
Yes.
If they have too much oak and it overwhelms it has too much makeup on. So
I love it. I love it. Okay, here's our next one. Napa or France?
France, oops.
All right, he
Sorry.
told us
Sorry, I didn't mean
what.
that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, you're good. Okay, you guys, tell us what you. Hey, girl. Tell us what you guys would prefer. So he told us. He said he would prefer France. So what would you prefer, France or Napa? It's crazy. All of us in like the United States, we're all gonna say we're France. And maybe in France they'd be like, "Ooh, Napa." Probably not, but maybe. Ria says Napa. So far, everybody else is saying France.
France is just too
Oh my
dynamic.
God.
They're too dynamic. They have too much. They offer too much. You know what I mean? And Napa, I love Napa. I got mad. I have accounts out there. I have a lot of like wine family out there. But if you're comparing, I mean, it's France. Like for me.
Absolutely. You're right. Like the diversity of wine
Mm-hmm.
and the diversity of even just great varietals in France is out of this world.
For real.
Isn't France like our number one producer of wine?
Right now, I have no idea right
I
now.
think
That's a good question.
It's France, and then Mel help a sister out. I know you're in here, DeShanna, France, and then it's crap, I forget what's number two. I know the United States is four. We're fourth. I know that from my American wine expert course.
Mm. I need to start reading more. I mean, I'm still studying for myself to make sure I'm on top of my stuff. But like, I need to probably do like a good 6 month deep dive into what's going on now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my knowledge about laws are from prior, like from a few years ago. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it makes sense. And by the way, someone says she is exactly right. Spain and Italy. Spain and Italy are the two in between France and the US. Okay, let's do, somebody mentioned champagne. Champagne or sparkling? So let everybody guess first. Champagne or sparkling?
I almost did it again.
All right, we're going to wait to see. Does he prefer, is he more of a champagne kind of guy or a sparkling wine kind of guy? Both. Champagne. Champs. Sparkling. Okay, Chanel. Okay, Nita, sparkling. I love it. All right. What is your favorite? Sparkling wine or champagne?
Champagne.
What's your favorite champagne?
Off the top of my head, I like Ayala non-vintage quite a bit. There's a bunch of them I like, but Ayala is one that I'm digging right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty balanced.
I love it. Okay, so we're gonna do two more. We're gonna do let's see, what's our time like? So we'll do two more hip hop and we'll do two more wine. All right. So the next one is Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre. So y'all tell us, does he prefer Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre?
Are you talking about rapping? Huh? Like rapping, right? Albums, like separate albums, or rapping is what are you talking about?
Yeah, just like who you think you like, who do you like better?
Got you. Okay.
Who's his favorite of the two? Dre. Okay. Dre. Snoop. Snoop. We're 2 for 2. Dre. My bad. That's who I like. No. All right. Yvonne says Dre. Okay. Who do you prefer of the two, Snoop or Dre?
All right. I'm a purist again, so it's Snoop because he's a lyricist. But because Dre gets stuff written for him. But as far as like production, he's the best production, like in period.
Yeah.
If he's the producer, he's the best producer. Period. So
yeah. He is. Although I am not rooting for him in his divorce battle right now.
I'm not touching that at all.
Don't get me started. You guys, why do I always be in celebrity gossip? And I be in it too. Like it's my family and friends. Like I'd be like judging.
Like you know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I know all the stories, all the gossip, and then I judge. I'm totally a judger. Like I'm like, he is trash. Nope. The Lord don't like ugly. I swear he don't.
I feel you. And whatever you do in the dark comes to the light, right?
Totally.
I feel
100%. Yeah. All right. Gewürztraminer or Riesling? Okay. Which does he prefer? Gewürztraminer or Riesling? Someone agrees with me. They said same. Or maybe they were agreeing with you. I'm trying to rally up the troops over here.
It's all good.
Gewürztraminer or Riesling? And for those of you and me who don't know how to spell Gewürztraminer, just put G. Okay, Ivan says, LOL, I am too. Thank you. And she knows how to spell Gewürztraminer. Thanks, sis. For those of you who don't, because I struggle every time, I don't even know what that first thing is. So too funny. Too funny. So Gewürztraminer is a German wine, a German grape variety, and it's comparable to a Riesling. They're different for sure, but all right. So I think we've got more Rieslings, but we do have a couple Gewürztraminers. Okay, so which do you prefer?
Riesling. It's in my top three white wine.
Nice.
It may even be like number one. It's fighting with a couple of varietals. So
got it.
Yeah, I love Riesling.
I love
really
it.
love Riesling. Yeah.
So you told us earlier you don't have much of a sweet tooth. So are you more on the dry side or somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, definitely on the dry. Yeah.
What is your favorite pairing with your Riesling?
So I like cheese a lot. I like I would say like because Riesling is as far as white grapes is at the top of the ladder of highest acid naturally. It just has a higher amount of acid than almost any white grape varietal period, even more than Sauvignon Blanc. And so
wow,
when I'm tasting Riesling, like dry Riesling, if I can get like a triple cream cheese, I mean I just love that pairing quite a bit. I also do something that's kind of weird.
Triple cream cheese.
Yeah, like a triple cream, like cheese, like a brie or whatever.
Oh,
I think
got it. My mind went to cream cheese, like cream cheese you put on a bagel. I'm like,
oh no.
Okay, sorry. I'm back.
So,
y'all,
so like it's like
in.
Hey, it's all good. I'm drinking too, so it's cheers to you.
I'm like, what is that? No,
I tend to have high acid, so that's really good. But I also do something that's really weird. I smoke cigars, like, quite a bit, and one of the pairings that I love is a Rheingau off dry Riesling, because they have that acid with like a mild cigar. They go really well together for whatever reason. The fruitiness of the Riesling with the and the acid of the Riesling kind of like takes that taste out of your mouth after you smoke a cigar. But if you get like a really fruity type of I don't know if fruity is the right word, but more of like a fruit-forward type of mild cigar, which they are some that are like that. They go really well together.
Love, y'all. Look at that. For those of you who are into cigars, somebody said Rees over G's. Top shelf pours. Is that one of your peeps? Said Rees over G's.
For sure.
All right, here's our last
Good looking out.
Here's our last two. Jay-Z or Beyonce. All right, it's his pick. Jay-Z or Beyonce. Tell us what he prefers, Jay-Z or Beyonce. And everyone is feeling the goat cheese reco.
For sure.
Jay-Z or Beyonce? Jay. Is it wine EMI says Beyonce, duh. Jay-Z, Beyonce, the queen bee. Jay-Z all day. Bay. Hey, PJ. Jay. Beyonce. All right. Tell us, Jatan.
So I can say it with my chest because my lady's not here. Jay-Z all day. But
if she was there, you'd be whispering.
Yeah, no, I still say Jay-Z. I just kind of, Jay-Z,
You whisper it a little bit.
A little bit. But no, like, I love Beyonce. I have nothing against her. It's just like, that's the music I listen to is Jay-Z.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. Okay. All right. Let's see. What's our last one? Gamay or Ganache? Grenache.
That's a hard one.
All right, y'all. Tell us, which of the two does he prefer? Gamay or Grenache?
That's a hard one.
Yolanda says, I don't know any guys that listen to Beyonce. I'm not going to lie. I mean, my husband's not going to like put it on, but if I have it on, he is definitely singing this. I be looking up like, okay. But no, my husband will get into some Beyonce if it's on. For real.
We all get caught singing it every once in a while. We all do.
Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, we got Gamay, Grenache, Gamay. All right. Any more before we let him say which is his fave? All right, you tell us. What's your fave?
Okay, so we're calling it garnacha and not grenache, and so we're talking about Spain
Garna,
as
yes.
opposed to like any, and then you're talking about gamay, so probably Cru Beaujolais out
Beaujolais.
of
Yep.
France. That this is a really hard one for me because I really love Cru Beauj, but I've got to go with garnacha because it's a little bit more rustic sometimes, and it can get like darker fruit, like blue fruit included into like the flavor profile, which I tend to lean more towards blue fruit. Uh,
Okay.
there are some Cru Beaujolais that have some of that, but for the most part, they tend to be more red fruit forward, and I dig them,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
if I'm pairing food. But I would lean more towards Garnacha. Plus, it's well, they're both pretty reasonably priced. So yeah, I would just lean a little bit more towards Garnacha.
I love it. I think I said I was mixing them up earlier. I said Grenache earlier, but Grenache.
Yeah,
Yes.
Garnacha.
And by the way, Trader Joe's has a really good gamay from Beaujolais for very
Sure does.
inexpensive.
I've had all their bows at a Trader Joe's.
Hey, it's an easy way to try wines, right? And
Yeah,
not feel like if you hate it, it doesn't feel so bad to pour it out.
exactly. Exactly. That's the whole reason for it, because the price, right?
That's right. Exactly. And there are some really good wines that you can find.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So Chanel says, dang, I should have had my notebook because he's dropping some gems. Yes, he absolutely is.
Oh, thank you.
And Ria says, you guys are so wine articulate. Thanks, sis. So you guys, thank you so much. Tell us where we can find you on Instagram.
You can just go my first name Jaton, last name Gunter, all one word. So Jayton Gunter, and you can find me.
Jayton
I got 2
Gunter.
shows. Check me out. Yeah.
And if you haven't already, there's a little arrow down icon next to the live button. You can click on that, tap on that, add him, follow him. Please support him. And do the same for me if you're not already. And don't forget, guys, support the man. The book is $15. It's a dope book. At any level, you can understand and relate and connect to this. But not only that, you'd be supporting a Black-owned business. He has his own well, I was going to say his own label, like this is a record company. He has his own publishing company and he's doing big things. So please go and support him. $15. You can click the link, go to Etsy, grab a book, grab a copy, give it to someone as a gift, y'all. You guys know I'd be forcing people. I need 4 people. You know how they do in the church. I need 4 people to bring $100. I need 4 people to go buy this book. Thank you so much for being on my
Thank
show.
you.
So
thank
fun.
you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate your time, and like I really appreciate you letting me be on your platform and sharing what I'm doing and stuff because it's a lot. So
it is, and you need to be congratulated and applauded, and we just need to make sure we follow you and support you. And hey, anytime you need anything, if I can help, shoot me a note. If you want me to push something for you, promote something for you, write whatever, you send a note, and I am more than happy to help you out. So we in this together.
And vice versa too.
Thank
vice versa
you.
too. Anything from my platform, let me know. I got you.
For sure, for sure. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a good night, and I'll be in touch with you, okay?
All right. Take care.
Good night. Bye-bye.